You're not stuck. Your brain is choosing your future right now. Not tomorrow, right now. And neuroscience just proved something that sounds impossible. You can change which timeline you're living in. Most people try this and fail. They visualize, they affirm, they manifest, nothing changes. There's a reason for that. There's one step, backed by neuroscience, that almost everyone skips. And without it, timeline shifting is just fantasy. Stay till the end of this video, because that step is what actually locks a new timeline into place. And once you get it, you'll see reality shift in ways that feel almost eerie. I'm the quantum philosopher, and this is Quantum Genesis, where science meets the soul. Today, you're going to discover how to change your timeline. But before we begin, if you're ready to understand how your mind shapes reality, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive into the neuroscience that will change how you see everything. Let's begin. Act 1. Your brain is a prediction machine. Here's what most people don't know about their brain. Your brain doesn't react to reality. It predicts reality milliseconds before you experience it. Scientists call this predictive processing, and it's one of the most important discoveries in neuroscience. Right now, your brain is making thousands of micro-predictions. What you'll see when you look up, what sounds you'll hear next, how people will respond to you, what opportunities will appear. Your brain takes past patterns, current context, and emotional state, and generates a prediction of what's most likely to happen next. Then, and this is the key, you live inside that prediction. Think about it. When you walk into a room, your brain already decided what you'll see before your eyes fully focus. When someone starts talking, your brain is already finishing their sentence. When you're anxious, your brain predicts threats. When you're confident, it predicts opportunities. You don't live in objective reality. You live in your brain's best guess of what's about to happen. And here's the insight that changes everything. When that prediction changes, your timeline changes. Your timeline isn't out there in some mystical dimension. It's encoded in the neural pathways of your prefrontal cortex, your limbic system, your nervous system. Change the internal model, and external reality reorganizes itself to match. Act 2. Why you're stuck in the same loop. So if your brain is constantly predicting your future, why do most people stay stuck in the same timeline? Why do the same patterns repeat year after year? Here's why. Your brain doesn't predict randomly. It predicts based on 1. Your identity, who you believe you are. 2. Your emotional baseline, your default nervous system state. 3. Your expectations, what you unconsciously believe is normal for you. Most people try to change their circumstances while keeping the same internal operating system. They want a new timeline with the same identity, same emotional patterns, same expectations. That's like trying to run new software on old hardware. It doesn't work. Here's what actually happens. You set a goal. You get excited. You take action. Then your brain checks. Does this match our current identity? Does this feel safe? If the answer is no, your nervous system hits the brakes. You self-sabotage. You procrastinate. You find reasons why it won't work, not because you're weak, because your brain is designed to keep you in familiar patterns, even if those patterns are painful. Familiarity feels safer than change. Your brain would rather keep you in a predictable bad timeline than risk an unpredictable good one. This is why willpower fails. Why motivation fades. Why you keep snapping back to the old reality. You can't shift timelines with the same identity that created the old one. Neurologically, it's impossible. The future you want? It requires a different version of you. Act 3. Your brain stores memories of the future. Now here's where neuroscience gets really interesting. Your brain doesn't just store memories of the past. It stores memories of the future. Neuroscientists call this prospective memory, mental simulation, episodic future thinking. When you vividly imagine a future event, your brain activates the same neural networks as if you were remembering something that already happened. fMRI scans show this clearly. Remembering the past and imagining the future light up nearly identical brain regions. To your nervous system, there's barely any difference between a memory of yesterday and experience happening now. A vivid simulation of tomorrow. They're all just neural patterns. This is how elite athletes train their bodies without moving, how astronauts prepare for space, how surgeons rehearse complex procedures. Your brain treats vivid mental rehearsal as real experience. But here's the problem most people run into. They imagine their desired future from a state of lack. You visualize the dream life while feeling broke, anxious, unworthy, desperate. Your brain reads that emotional signature and thinks, wait, this future feels dangerous. This doesn't match our identity. This violates our expectations. Threat detected. Shut it down. Your brain rejects the new timeline because the emotional frequency doesn't match. This is why affirmations don't work. Why vision boards collect dust. Why positive thinking alone fails. You're trying to install a new future while broadcasting the emotional signal of the old one. Your nervous system won't allow it. You cannot shift timelines from the emotional state that created the old one. A CT4, the quantum bridge. Now let's talk about the word quantum, because it gets misused a lot. Quantum doesn't mean magic. It doesn't mean you can manifest a Ferrari by thinking about it. Quantum means probability. At the quantum level, particles exist in superposition, multiple states at once, until they're observed. Then probability collapses into a single outcome. Now, I'm not saying you're collapsing quantum particles with your thoughts. That's not how this works. But here's what is true. Your attention collapses your personal probability field. At any moment, there are multiple possible futures available to you. Multiple timelines branching out. You don't experience all of them. You experience the one your brain gives priority to. And what determines priority? Your identity, your emotional state, your expectations, your nervous system patterns. That's your timeline. Two people can walk through the exact same environment and experience completely different realities because their brains are predicting different futures. One person's brain predicts opportunity. The other predicts threat. One notices possibilities. The other sees obstacles. Same reality, different timelines. The timeline you live in is the one your brain is tuned to detect. Act 5, the quantum neuro method. All right, here's the actual method. 3 steps, simple but precise. Step 1, identity first. Don't start with goals. Don't start with what you want. Start with identity. Ask yourself, who am I in the timeline I want to live in? Not what you have, not what you do. Who you are. Because here's what neuroscience shows. Your brain organizes your entire perception of reality around identity. If you identify as someone who struggles with money, your brain will filter reality to confirm that. You'll notice expenses, obstacles, reasons why things won't work. If you identify as someone who naturally attracts abundance, your brain filters differently. You'll notice opportunities, solutions, synchronicities, same reality, different identity, different timeline. So get specific. In the timeline you want, are you calm or excited? Certain or hopeful? Playful or serious? Abundant or grateful? Don't describe what you'll have. Describe who you'll be. Write it down. 1 paragraph, present tense. I am someone who. This is your new identity protocol. Step 2, emotional rehearsal. Here's the trick most people miss. Don't feel excitement. Feel familiarity. Excitement signals this is new and rare. Familiarity signals this is normal for me. Your brain doesn't shift timelines toward excitement. It shifts toward what feels normal. So here's what you do. Every day, spend 5 to 10 minutes in emotional rehearsal. Close your eyes. Drop into your body. Now feel what it would feel like if this timeline was already your reality. Not I hope this happens. Not I'm manifesting this. Just, oh, this is how things are now. Feel the calm, the certainty, the boring normalcy of it. like you're remembering something that already happened. Your brain can't tell the difference between a vivid memory, a vivid imagination. So give it a memory of the future. A memory that feels so real, so familiar, that your nervous system accepts it as fact. The feeling you're looking for is, yeah, this is just my life now. When you hit that frequency, that's when timeline shifts start happening. Step 3. Micro-behavior alignment. Thought alone is weak, emotion is stronger. But behavior is proof. Your brain needs evidence that the new timeline is real. So ask yourself, the version of me in that timeline, how do they move through the world? How do they start their morning? Respond to stress? Make decisions? Treat their body? Spend their time? Pick one micro-behavior that matches that identity. Not a massive change, a tiny one. Examples. They hydrate first thing, gives you drink water before coffee. They move with confidence, gives you walk 10% slower and hold eye contact. They dress intentionally, gives you choose your outfit the night before. They protect their energy, gives you turn off notifications for an hour. One small action, daily. This sends a signal to your nervous system. We're already living in that timeline. And your brain starts reorganizing reality to match. Act 6. The step everyone skips. Here it is. The step that determines whether timeline shifting works or fails. Closure. Your brain will not fully commit to a new timeline until the old one feels complete. Most people try to force change while still gripping their old identity with white knuckles. They want the new future, but they're terrified of letting go of the old one. That creates internal war. And when your nervous system detects internal conflict, it freezes everything. You stay stuck, not because the method doesn't work, because you're trying to live in two timelines at once. Here's what you need to understand. You don't fight the old timeline. You outgrow it. So tonight, before you sleep, do this. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, what version of me no longer needs to exist? Listen, let the answer come. Maybe it's the version who needed to prove themselves, the version who played small to stay safe, the version who needed struggle to feel worthy, the version who carried other people's expectations. Then say it out loud. I release the version of me that. Say it with respect, with gratitude. That version of you did their best, but they don't need to exist anymore. This is called identity shedding, and it's one of the most powerful things you can do. Because when you consciously release the old identity, your nervous system relaxes. It stops trying to protect something that no longer serves you. And that's when the new prediction, the new timeline, locks into place. Timeline shifting isn't addition. It's substitution. You're not adding a new reality on top of the old one. You're becoming someone new. And that person lives in a different timeline. Let's bring this together. Timeline shifting isn't magic. It's not quantum mysticism. It's teaching your brain to predict a different future. And once that prediction changes, your perception changes, your decisions change, your behavior changes. Opportunities appear that were always there. You just couldn't see them before. You don't chase a new timeline. You become the person who naturally lives in it. And when your identity, emotions, and behavior all align, your brain has no choice but to reorganize reality around that signal. The timeline you want isn't somewhere out there. It's in here, encoded in your nervous system, waiting to be activated. And you just learned how to activate it. If this video helped you see reality differently, do 2 things. 1. Subscribe. We're going deeper into neuroscience, psychology, and how to master your internal world every single week. 2. Comment locked in below if you're committing to this process. I read every comment. And if you want me to break down the advanced techniques, how to stay locked into a new timeline and never snap back to the old one, let me know. We're just getting started. I'll see you in the next one. I'm the Quantum Philosopher, and this is Quantum Genesis, where science meets the soul.